Hello again. Yeah, we got to talk about this. We desperately need caregivers in Wisconsin. Um like desperately. There's so many caregiving jobs, and honestly, if you're able body and can pass a background check, you should apply. But let me assuage some of your fears. So you got to research what kind of facility you want to work in. Okay, most you don't need a CNA license. I think you only need a CNA license if you work in a hospital type situation. But if you work like in a CBRF, a nursing home, an adult family home, you typically don't need a caregiver license, a CNA. That's the beauty of healthcare. There's so many jobs available. If you want a job that's like stable, then being a caregiver would be like, and you don't want to say you don't want to go back to school, which I totally get. It's a total 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 like time commitment and financial commitment. Totally get it. But being a caregiver would be probably your best bet. So basically you're doing the same thing as a CNA, and it kind of depends on what kind of facility you're at. So if you're obviously at and it also depends what shift you're at. If you're at a nurse, like if you're first shift, second shift, yeah, you're probably going to be doing more cares, more hands-on cares. But if you're knock shift, you tend to not do as many cares. Oh my God. But I know a lot of companies are desperately hurting because they're healthcare doesn't have the best rep, which is totally, I get it. I really do get it. But like I said, there's such a variety of healthcare jobs. And a lot of those jobs don't really require a special license. I've always been a caregiver. So that just basically means I pass a caregiver background check. I mean, now there's like respite care if you want to work with kids. And even then, that's a range of cares. You have a caregiver in an adult family home. That again ranges. You can have a facility where they take in like total needs. So you need to shower them. You need to get them dressed. You need to give them the medication. Yada, yada, yada. All that. Or you can go to like a smaller facility where you're like, okay, I'm not. Or you can be in an adult family home situation where they're a little bit more independent, but they need someone to kind of like watch them and guide them. Then you have basically like nursing homes where you're dealing with a lot more patients and you're dealing with a lot more things. It is so hard, especially the smaller the company is, the harder it is to find a job, find caregivers. So it's really hard and difficult for them too, because they're competing with bigger, they're competing against people with bigger budgets, basically. Like I can tell you, I have two jobs where, my previous job, I was working with people who were total needs. So like I had to shower them, I had to get them dressed, I had to give them medications, I had to feed them breakfast. Now I'm just like, make breakfast, give them meds. That's it. Literally, that's it. And I clean. And I've always been third shift. So my suggestion is, pretty much, doing that. So like if you do want try to find an adult family home. I mean, if you interview at these places, they will tell you like, hey, what kind of cares am I looking at? If they're interested in hiring you, they typically do a phone interview first. And you could ask them, hey, what kind of cares am I expected to do? So that's one of the things you can ask, or how mobile they are. I've had to take care of people in wheelchairs. I've had to take people in walkers. I've had to take people where they're completely mobile, like they can walk unassisted and everything. So that's something you can consider. If you don't want to work in a nursing home, totally get it, totally get it, totally get it, totally get it. But there are other companies and other facilities. Like, for instance, you can do respite care, which is basically you go to that client's home. I think it's called Consumer Direct Care Network or whatever. They're only like 4 states. And basically what they do is they kind of act like a middleman. So they'll put in like ads such as, hey, a young man needs complete help. Would you be willing to help? This is how much the company's willing to pay you per hour, type of thing. Or because they take care of adults and children. So it also depends on like what kind of level of care they expected to do. And even then, that ranges. There's night shifts, there's day shifts. Then you can go to the adult family homes or the CBRFs. Basically, CBRFs, they require you to be on the state registry, which, most companies will pay for you to take your classes. But yeah, there's that. What else is there? Then you have your nursing home, so your assisted living, where those people are a little bit more mobile. You just have to give them meds and help them with the showers, very basic, minimal cares. Then you have the assisted memory care, which is you're dealing with more behaviors, you're dealing with more, memory loss. So kind of more violent behaviors. I'm not saying everyone's violent in all the facilities. It kind of depends. But yeah, you typically do work with people. Then you have the hospital where you're getting all kinds of people. So, but I'm just putting it out there for people who want a job, who want a job, like, hey, it's perfect if you want to work. Like, if you want to work and can do your job, like, hey, I'm not going to look down on you because, this may not be your passion, but, it kind of does, especially when you're in an adult family home or a CBRF. You become, like, basically, like, these people's social network, and they look forward to seeing you every day, every time you work. So that could be, it too. So they kind of sneaks up on you like, oh yeah, I like this job, or, everybody has different motives for working in healthcare. Some people like helping. Some people like to, they want it because it's stable work. All depends on the person. So just thought I'd put it out there, you guys. Bye.